The first time it happened, the first D-Day, was March 3rd, 2017. That was when 5% of the world's population suddenly disappeared. Video footage and eyewitness accounts tell the same story. One moment they were there, and the next they were simply gone. There was no flash of light or sound, there was no fade out, and there was nothing left behind. The best estimates put the number around 374 million souls gone that day. Then there was the collateral damage. Driverless car crashes, a few small planes without co-pilots, doctors disappearing in the middle of a delicate surgery, a crane operator that dropped a shipping container, or the wife that was no longer holding the ladder steady. The general aftermath caused more damage. There were a rash of mass suicides, shootings, and riots. The first week was chaos. I was a rookie, just a year out of the FBI academy, when the calls started flooding in. Police, wardens, reporters, other agencies, citizens, all looking for answers. We didn't have any to give them. The media was able to piece together the story as quickly as we were. Reports confirmed that the entire world was similarly affected. Prison populations were hit with large-scale disappearances. End-of-life care facilities, hospitals, hospice workers, and retirement communities also reported many missing. Then there were the scattered one-off reports of people disappearing while going about their daily lives. From your average Joe to judges and senators, no one was safe. The president called a state of emergency. Stock trading was paused. The military was on high alert. All hands were on deck. National Guard, police, fire, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, FEMA, even the IRS. Governors worked with the federal government to coordinate federal and state agencies to help control the aftermath. Congress quickly passed a bill forming a new agency with employees pulled from the ranks of every other agency. Their goal was to research and document the disappearances. The pattern for most of the disappeared quickly became clear. For the sick and elderly, it was those closest to death and those with the lowest quality of life. Advanced dementia, unmanageable mental illness, coma patients, and those suffering from advanced stages of debilitating diseases. From the prisons, it was mostly the worst of the worst. Death row inmates, murderers, savage assaulters, and violent or habitual sex offenders. But there was also a few drug dealers, thieves, repeat offenders, and white-collar criminals that didn't seem to fit. Around the world, warlords, guerrilla fighters, and terrorist organizations were heavily impacted. Some world leaders, mostly in oppressive regimes, were gone. For the remaining one-off disappearances, a consensus quickly emerged. Even though we might not know what they did, it was pretty clear that these people had to have done something heinous to be on the list of the missing. Investigative teams were formed. Those with the most experience looked into the rich, the senators, the judges, the so-called important people. I was partnered with an arson investigator to look into the one-off disappearances. Junior teams with little experience looked into the easier-to-solve cases involving the correctional system, the sick, and the old. The military handled their own cases. We started with quick, basic investigations. About 20% were easy to classify. If someone was acquitted of murder due to lack of evidence, it was a good bet that they were really a murderer. Another 20% were persons of interest in past crimes, but there wasn't enough evidence to charge them. The rest of the cases required more effort. For every case we solved, there was 10 more we didn't. But for those cases we did solve, they all fit the same pattern. They may have succeeded in hiding their crimes from the law, but whatever took them, it knew. There was no hiding on D-Day. Life went on, and for the most part the world returned to normal. Until it happened again. 438 days after the first event. Another 360 million souls gone. Another 5% of the world's population. It was similar to the first disappearances, but it expanded its scope. Less violent assaults, one-time sex offenders, the terminally ill that still had some time left, some of the paralyzed and mentally ill. With the second wave, a more ominous pattern emerged. It wasn't just the lowest of the low. It was just the lowest of those that were left. I've been on the job 30 years now. I've seen 9 waves. They call them evolution waves now. It takes longer and longer, but they always come again. And with each one, another 5% are gone. We never figured out why, but you have to admit that the world's a better place now. War, terrorists, violent crime, all but gone. Spousal and child abuse, a thing of the past. We get the random crime of passion and a few non-violent offenses here and there, but not often. There's only 2 prisons left in the country. Racism and bigotry are outdated ideas. All races and religions are welcome. Countries get along. No one goes hungry anymore. Mental illness is rare. There are less medical problems, and we've discovered cures for most of the diseases that still do pop up. We don't talk about it much anymore. Most just focus on bettering themselves and the world around them. Even so, I'm betting almost everyone in the world thinks the same thing when they go to bed at night. It's not over. There's another wave coming, just around the corner. I'd like to see my kids grow older and have kids of their own. I'd like to play with my grandchildren. There's still so many things I have to offer. So many things I can do to help make the world a better place. I'm living the best I can, aren't I? I can be better tomorrow. I have to be. When will it come? I want to live. I want to be better. I just need more time. How much longer? Then again, maybe it's just me. Who knows? I've made it this far. Either way, one thing is certain. For some of us, this next wave will be the final evolution.